I've never done a video diary where I'm like fatigued, and I just thought it might be a good idea to do that. Yeah, the obvious, well, one of the obvious reasons I don't is that it takes effort, and not only do I not have the ability to give that effort, really, it takes a lot as well. So everything I do takes energy. Yeah. And I take methylphenidate, Ritalin, for ADHD, and one of the bummers about having, for want of a less offensive word to other people with ADHD, really authentic ADHD, is it doesn't do much in the way of picking me up. Yeah, so I just quite fucked. I don't know what it looks like up my mouth. My lips get really dry. My heart rate goes up, and I'm just buggered. And it's very important to me to keep up with housework, and it really is. And so I probably shouldn't be trying to do that, but I am. Because I don't like living in mess. I got to the point in about October and to about December where my base was just it was just absolutely chaotic, and unfortunately mental health services think that that's a sign of being mentally unwell. And it's like, well, it can be. It can also just be a sign of being really physically unwell. So what it's like is most mornings I wake up and I feel really tired. And I get up anyway, and how late I sleep in depends on what I think I need, because feeling tired doesn't mean that you haven't slept enough, and it doesn't even necessarily mean that you're sleepy, but it's just like lying there like, oh my God, I just feel like there's a ton of weight on me. But I take my meds, and the methylphenidate or Ritalin, it certainly gives a little bit of a boost in the first few minutes of action that can sometimes be utilised strategically if you get in quick enough. But anyway, I have a coffee in the morning, and that makes me feel better. And I sit in bed and just sort of plan my day. And because I'm not working, I sit in bed to do most of my sort of admin and planning and that kind of thing, and do what I can there. But a couple of days ago I spent the entire day in bed and sort of dozing, and I hate doing that. I hate it so much. It's so it's just yuck. It's just yucky, but it's just like, it's just all I could do, really. And I had to pick up my meds, which I missed picking them up on Friday. Yesterday was public holiday, and I bloody dragged my poor tired bones to the pharmacy to pick them up, and I was like, bloody King's birthday, and I almost cried. It's like, oh God, it took me so much effort to get here. And it's about, I don't know, I track my steps, and I know now that actually fewer steps are better than more. Like, I don't try to hit anything like 1,000 anymore. It's sort of reverse. It's like, let's try and keep it under 400, really. Yeah, I think it's about 5,000 steps return trip. Yeah, so I did that this morning because it's like, gotta do it. And then I've been trying to do a bit of admin, like, you know, like I'm just always problem solving. So my prefrontal cortex is always just getting the shit kicked out of it. You're not supposed to be problem solving all the time. You're not supposed to be troubleshooting all the time. You're supposed to be on autopilot quite a lot. So the distinction between chronic fatigue syndrome and exhaustion disorder or burnout, as my GP does choose to call it, because that's what people understand. It's really difficult to know which is which. And I think that the exhaustion disorder, which is caused by stress, is probably like a big contributor to the chronic fatigue syndrome. It's almost like I wish I just had an overall name to call it. But yeah, like I've just been trying to do a bit more problem solving today and done some dishes and made my bed and put on washing and, you know, stuff. And just so tired. And I'm going to keep pushing through because I need to hang up some washing and I've got to do other things. I just really can't stand mess. I really can't stand it, and it makes me unhappy and it brings down the quality of my life. So I have to make choices. But it's quite a nasty feeling because back before I developed chronic fatigue syndrome, which happened, is presumed to have happened after my developed after my renal transplant in 2016, stuff like that. Yeah, it's usually like some sort of injury to the body or some big shock, which of course major surgery is. And it wasn't in full flight then. Usually just pushing through tiredness, I've usually found that to be quite a good necessary thing to do. You just push through, right? But it's horrible knowing that when you push through, you're actually just damaging yourself. And that, you know, the chronic fatigue syndrome can work like a ratchet mechanism where you don't return to that baseline level of energy and you can actually just permanently fuck yourself. I suppose it's a little bit like the analogy and I don't know if it's a correct analogy anymore, but I think with battery it used to be that if you just kept charging your phone battery to a certain lower percentage, it would just reduce to that, 80% became the new 100% and that kind of thing. It's not a perfect analogy because it works in the opposite direction, but you can just go, okay, well, your body, you've just sort of taken away your top level of energy now and you've got a new top level which is lower than the old level. I can say blah, 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 blah. The ADHD doesn't disappear with the fatigue, unfortunately. But yeah, it just feels awful and it's my eyes feel, my lips are dry. This is, classic, and my eyes just feel like they're burning, I haven't had enough sleep, but I've had enough sleep. My muscles just feel weak and I feel a bit down, I suppose. I think it's just the lack of energy for me. Energy's always been happiness. So I just wanted to record it because it's I mean, people don't know how I feel. There's no way of like getting that across. But I felt a hell of a lot more healthy sitting in a hospital bed than I do right now. And how I feel right now is quite common. So, no, I've overdone it today. And I haven't done much at all. And the fact that I'm supposed to do paralegal work and defend myself in the Tenancy Tribunal, or move home, in 6 weeks is like, God, who's in charge of this insane country? It's like the problem-solving ability's not there, and it's got nothing to do with needing advice. It's physical. Prefrontal cortex, people, is overused. It's overused. It's like a really good pair of running shoes that you've just run in for too long and they're fucked. Yep. So I can't do a lot of problem solving anymore because my brain just goes, oh no you don't, young lady, off to bed. And like resting doesn't feel relaxing or anything. It's just like, yeah. Yeah, just lying on my honey sofa, which is the only comfortable really way to sit on it. It's a very strange sofa. Yeah.